My Life with Marsha Elle, Part 2.
Yeah, so I guess from your perspective, why do you think representation for people with disability is important throughout these creative industries?
Oh, well, it's extremely important. And I'm just piggybacking off of what you just said. At one point, it wasn't something desirable, but I think us as, especially models with our challenges, we're not just saying, we're not on the ad to be desirable. It's more for it to be understood and
Mm,
for the humanity within it to display in their campaign.
absolutely.
When I do a modeling event, I mean, or I do a campaign, and I love the people I've worked with, and I've been so grateful. I would go on to bet that it's not because of looks.
Yeah,
Or it's literally because of the story and the message and something that's so intangible but felt. Like, that's why I'm so happy that bigger brands are now taking that in. Like, it's more powerful than just vanity. Educating. We do so, just seeing a picture of you in your wheelchair makes people to open their eyes and say, hey, so you're educating. So that's kind of what I love about our campaigns and the message we put into it.
the big takeaway would be the educating as well as, there is that element of like trying to shift perceptions and make people with disability, included more in that whole like sexuality scene and
Right.
desirable and all that. But I think a lot of it at this point in time as well is just like educating people about like we exist. We make up like 15% of the global population. I know in Australia it's like almost 18% of the population. So it's like
Yeah.
us being included in like media, fashion, music, TV, movies, all of that has really positive ripple effects in the real world in terms of like education, healthcare, employment, and stuff like that. Because like all that creative stuff feeds people's, it's like that feeds their like subconscious and like dictates what is and isn't acceptable and like sexy and desirable and all of that, which then has very real results in terms of like if someone's going to employ someone, if they've never ever seen disability representation anywhere, they're not going to know what to do. They're going to have all these like strange subconscious biases. Like they can't do this. Like, why aren't they at home being cared for? Why are they trying to get a job here? Imagine all the things
Right.
they can't do. So it's like all those types of things would be going through their minds. So yeah, I think a lot of it is just about we want to exist and get jobs and have healthcare and not
Yes.
segregated in education. So let's get represented. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that is big. And I would like to say, and I'm trying to plug that in, when you messaged me about, doing this interview, I was like, what in the world? Well, the irony, I'm working on completing a project for my nonprofit, which is our website. It's called Glow Unlimited, and it's basically a resource just for that. I'm heading to Washington, D.C., and I'm with a group that's legislating for better health care. And
Amazing.
like, we're usually, healthcare providers limit our prosthetic like devices and what we can get. I have always pushed the boundaries since, that's why my leg looks this way. And I always get these inboxes like, how can I get a leg like yours? And X, Y, and Z. So I'm doing a lot of work for that, but I've kind of put this website together because community is so important.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that I would like to share with an amputee that maybe is younger or a new amputee, so they don't have to go through those same roadblocks. And the stronger we become as a community, the stronger we can impact the rest of the world.
Yeah. And I love that. And it's like, yes, yeah, it sounds like you're sort of going down the lines of like, it's not just for you, it's for everyone as well. Like you're trying to
Right.
create more and more platforms for all people with disability to have these opportunities. Like it's, yeah,
And
part of what I,
quality of life. That's
yes,
my big thing, quality of life. And so that's why I'm pushing it, because I want everyone to have the opportunity to have jobs and not just we have one disabled person because we have to.
Yeah. Not just
No.
box. The next thing I want to ask is a recent positive experience you've had out in the community and a recent negative experience you've had.
A recent positive.
I love this because it gives Black non-disabled viewers the opportunity to go, okay, this is potentially what I'm doing really well. And then also this is potentially something that I'm not doing very well.
Right. That's a good way to put it. A recent, I guess, and I get that a lot, but just when they see, maybe I wear shorts, and there was one individual, I was actually just at the grocery store, and he was like, I couldn't, maybe it was like an uncle just lost his prosthetic leg. I can now tell him everything is going to be okay. Because it's like, yeah, he definitely can. And I feel like there's a purpose behind my story. Because I know when I was younger, I didn't need an amputee till I went to amputee camp.
Oh,
That's
really?
16 years. You're not going to find, an amputee your age that often. I mean, I didn't come across one until I went to a camp for amputees that I met other amputees. So it's important. We matter. And them making those comments, it's encouraging.
Yeah.
And a negative, and I am the queen of writing strongly worded letters. And I will speak to any manager, any associate that I need to make sure. Accessibility is imperative. I, at this age, can go up and down stairs and do all these other things, right? But that doesn't discount that I'm going to get older. Maybe one day I might have an issue with my sound. Like, things happen. I am big on making sure that disabled parking is used by disabled individuals only. So, and I want to go, and I've always been a big advocate. All disabilities are not visible. Some people have fibromyalgia, and it's always understood. But there was one gentleman that decided to park in handicap parking for 5 minutes or whatever, just a brief moment. I said, this is not what this is for. Legislation was passed. It is by law reserved. So for you to think that you could park here, you're sadly mistaken. I will be the first to have it towed. And I'm big on that. Management got him quick because this is not, we only get 1 or 2 parking spaces for a certain amount of footage. So it's not convenient for you. You should not inconvenience anyone because you never know, someone with a wheelchair. And I'm very big on that. I won't park in a handicap spot unless I really maybe having a tough day or if the parking is 2-3 miles away. Why? Because there may be someone who needs it a little bit more, which is perfectly fine. I'm considerate of my group, but you have no right to not have a decal and to park here for 5 minutes. Park on the streets.
Get out of here.
You cannot do that. And so that is a negative. Do not park in handicap parking spaces.
Yes, I know.
Especially when you don't have a decal. If you have a decal, okay. And even if I know you're not disabled, I'm watching. But if you think that you can use this as a valet parking, never, not on my watch. That is it.
I love to raise the point as well that we get 1 or 2 parks. It's the same with toilets, right? Like accessible toilets, accessible parking bays. Like we get 1 or 2 out of the 20 other spaces or toilets people can use, right? So it's don't be a dick about it. Just go use the other one or wait a little bit longer to use the other one because I get this one spot.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Marsha, again for joining me, and thank you everyone who followed along. I know I had a lovely time, and everyone go along and follow Marsha and listen to her songs because
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for following along. Catch part 1 of another intriguing interview next week.